Have you ever stopped to think about the words we use when nature calls? Some people say toilet, others say restroom, and depending on where you are in the world, you'll hear an entirely different term altogether. On the surface, these words may sound like simple synonyms, but in reality, each one has its own history, cultural meaning, and even a touch of social etiquette attached to it. So today, let's dive into the fascinating difference between restroom and toilet. We'll look at where these words came from, how people use them in different countries, and why something as ordinary as going to the bathroom has so much language wrapped around it. Let's get into it, right here, on History of Simple Things. The word toilet might sound blunt and straightforward today, but it actually has a surprisingly elegant origin. It comes from the French word toilette, which referred to a small cloth used during the grooming process. In the 16th century, people in Europe would say they were doing their toilette when they were washing, brushing their hair, or dressing up. Over time, the word shifted to mean the process of getting ready in general. But by the 19th century, English speakers started using toilet to describe the actual room where one freshened up, and eventually, the plumbing fixture we all know today. It's interesting, isn't it? A word that once had classy and refined roots ended up attached to one of the least glamorous parts of daily life. Now, let's look at restroom. This is a much newer word, and it's mostly American. The term popped up in the early 20th century as a polite way to refer to public facilities. Imagine being in a fancy department store in New York in the 1920s. The owners didn't want to put a blunt sign that said toilet on the door. Instead, they used the softer, more refined restroom, suggesting a space not only for relieving oneself, but also for pausing, freshening up, and yes, resting. The word worked perfectly in an era when manners and appearances mattered a lot. To this day, Americans overwhelmingly prefer to say restroom in public settings, especially when asking for directions. You're much more likely to hear someone say, "Excuse me, where's the restroom?" than "Where's the toilet?" One of the biggest differences between toilet and restroom comes down to what they actually describe. Toilet usually means the physical fixture, the porcelain seat itself. In many parts of the world, if you say toilet, people assume you're talking about the actual bowl. Restroom, on the other hand, refers to the entire room or facility. It includes the sinks, the stalls, the mirrors, and sometimes even couches or waiting areas. This distinction can be subtle, but it explains a lot about why people choose one word over the other. Saying restroom feels broader and more polite, while toilet is very direct and specific. The fun part about this topic is how different cultures handle it. In the United States, restroom is the norm in public, while bathroom is often used at home, even if there's no bathtub involved. Toilet is understood, but it feels a little too blunt in polite conversation. In the United Kingdom, it's the opposite. People say toilet all the time, and it's perfectly normal. If you walk into a pub in London and ask for the restroom, you'll probably get a confused look, or at least a smile. In Australia and New Zealand, toilet is also the go-to word. Asking for the restroom might even sound overly American or unnecessarily formal. In Canada, it's a bit of a mix. Washroom is more common than either restroom or toilet, and it's considered polite. Meanwhile, in Japan, signs often say toilet in English, and the word is widely understood. But locals might also use the Japanese wordtoire, borrowed from English. And in France, where the term originally came from, the word you'll most often see is toilettes, still holding on to its French roots. Of course, this topic isn't just about history and culture, it's also about humor. Misusing the wrong term in the wrong place can lead to awkward or funny moments. Imagine an American tourist in London politely asking a waiter, "Excuse me, where's the restroom?" The waiter might chuckle and reply, "The toilet's down the hall." To the American ear, that might sound a bit harsh, but to the local, it's completely ordinary. On the flip side, a Brit visiting New York might ask, "Where's the toilet?" and get a slightly uncomfortable pause before someone points them to the restroom. Neither person is wrong. It's just a matter of cultural expectation. You might be wondering, does it really matter? Isn't it just about the same thing? Well, yes and no. On a practical level, everyone knows what you mean, regardless of which word you use. But language is about more than just meaning. It's also about tone, culture, and connection. Using the local word can make you fit in more naturally. It shows awareness of social norms and avoids any unintended awkwardness. It's also a reminder of how language evolves. A word that once meant a grooming cloth, toilet, now points to a bathroom fixture. And a word like restroom shows how society prefers soft, indirect terms for uncomfortable topics. At the end of the day, the restroom versus toilet debate isn't just about vocabulary. It's about identity, culture, and how we navigate the awkward parts of being human. Language shapes the way we interact with others, even in the most ordinary moments. Next time you're traveling, pay attention to the signs or listen to what people around you say. Do they use toilet, restroom, or something else entirely? That little detail can teach you a lot about the culture you're in. So what's the verdict? Which word is better, restroom or toilet? Honestly, there's no right answer. If you're in America, restroom is the polite and expected choice. If you're in the UK or Australia, toilet is perfectly normal. And if you're in Canada, go with washroom. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.